Hello, welcome to Blue House Okinawa. I'm here with one of our teachers, Miss Catherine, and today we're going to talk about the benefits of knowing how to speak Japanese, why a lot of people give up on learning Japanese, how our curriculum and our teaching style and our classes are different than any other schools here, and why you should take classes at Blue House. So I'm going to ask my first question, what are the benefits of knowing how to speak Japanese, and specifically in Okinawa, while you're here in Okinawa?
So in Okinawa, because there's such a heavy military and American presence, there's definitely the possibility of staying in a little English-speaking bubble the entire time you're here. But then you miss out on everything that's like really Okinawa. The food and the adventures and the diving and the historical sites are just things that you can't get unless you can speak at least a little bit of Japanese to get yourself off base and set things up.
I know a lot of people only shop at the commissary because they don't know how to read things, read labels at the grocery store, or talk to, the cashiers at the grocery store. In your experience from knowing some Japanese, are you able to go to a grocery store off base and
for sure. And there are things at the commissary that you just don't get at the commissary that you might be able to find off base in Japanese grocery stores. So sometimes fresher produce, sometimes just ingredients that you can't get when you're on base, and being able to ask, where is this thing, or read what the ingredients are, super helpful.
Yeah. A lot of people are apprehensive to even learn Japanese. I know it's a hard language, but are there any other reasons? Do people think it's harder than learning Spanish, maybe any other language? Why are people so apprehensive to learn Japanese?
Japanese is a hard language to learn. However, a lot of the materials that people try to use to learn Japanese are written from an Eastern teaching perspective, which is not the same as how Westerners are used to learning.
Right.
And so just being exposed to a very different teaching system and a very different learning system, and also very accelerated, can be really intimidating and not necessarily set up best for Western success.
Do you guys use a textbook that maybe caters a little bit more to the Western style of learning?
Yeah, so Japanese from Zero is written by an American and his Japanese wife, and so it's very much tailored to people who are coming from the West, coming from an English background, trying to learn Japanese, and so we've had a lot of success with that.
And then are there even some YouTube videos?
Oh yeah, he's got a whole series of YouTube lectures.
So if you miss a class, or you kind of want to go over what you had learned in class, you can actually go home, watch a YouTube video of the chapter that you had learned that day.
Yeah, and that makes it very flexible. If you have to miss a class, or 2 classes, or 3 classes for whatever reason, you've got right on the internet, everything that you need to really learn from the book, and it can also just be a really good refresher after class to go back through and review what you just learned.
Perfect. And then speaking of reviewing of what you learned, I know that you emphasize speaking practice, that you can read, hiragana, katakana, you can read the words, but you're not going to really know how to use them, say them properly, unless you're speaking them constantly. And I know that you have both English language and Japanese language classes here, and that you have an exchange class where the students of each class get together, ask each other questions, and that way they're able to practice each language, talk to each other. Tell me a little bit about how those work.
So as part of each class, there's half of the class is devoted to kind of lecture practice within your new language that you're learning, and then the second half of class is a swap, so that students who are learning English as a second language and students who are learning Japanese as a second language get together and work really hard to have a conversation together, ask each other questions in Japanese, ask each other questions in English, and answer in Japanese and English, and just work together with the words that they know to get their point across, which is fun. And then on Thursdays for 2 hours, everyone at the school, English learners and Japanese learners, can all get together and do a lot of group activities and pair activities, which are everything from short conversations to games to cooking activities, and I think they had brunch the other day, so perfect. It's a lot going on. Yeah,
that sounds great. And then you guys can even all talk to each other outside of the classes or the exchange study using the Google Hangouts, and just each converse with each other. What is this? Maybe you see a menu, you're not sure what something is, you can ask one of the Japanese students on this Google Hangouts. And
Yeah, so Google Hangouts is great because as a teacher, I'm always available to my students. So they can text me with, what does this English word mean? Help, I'm having a conversation I need to know right now.
at any time,
At
on
any
the
time.
weekend.
Mhm.
Oh, nice.
Or if I'm going grocery shopping and I don't know what is in this box in front of me, I can take a picture and send it to everyone and ask, does anyone know what this is? And usually a Japanese speaker can answer me right away. But more than that, and that's useful, but we also use it to plan holiday parties and weekend get-togethers for barbecues, and usually we have like a question of the day or post a fun fact, so we can share those kinds of things in both English and Japanese, so we can practice our reading and our typing, and kind of just network and get to know each other outside of class.
And so needless to say, this is a much more fun setting, relaxing, homey, friendly setting than as opposed to being in a classroom at UMUC or another language school, just teacher,
Well,
and desk.
I think the name says it all. Blue House
The
Okinawa.
house
Like
is homey.
I come home, I come here, and I
home.
feel like I'm at home, and everyone's so comfortable, and we all know each other, and that's the best part. Is I know if I make a mistake, everyone gets it. Everyone else is learning and making mistakes too. And if someone else makes a mistake, I know I can help them because I want them to be better, not as a way to criticize them.
Right.
So that. I think that's the best part, is the learning environment is so comfortable and so empathic.
I think you definitely summed up the best aspects, best part of Blue House Okinawa, and hopefully we've convinced you to give the classes a try.
Absolutely.
Cut. All right, and we both froze. We went like